Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be chatting about the newly launched Tarte Face Tape Foundation. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this just came out of nowhere. Tarte did not give us any hints, any teasers that they were planning on revamping and relaunching a new foundation to replace the Shape Tape ones. But here it is. Basically, they told us like a week before it launched that it was coming, and then it just appeared in Ulta stores. So as soon as I saw the claims on this, I was definitely intrigued. I went to my local Ulta, I swatched, I played around, and ultimately I did decide to pick it up. Didn't hurt that I had a gift card, so that kind of helped. But if you're someone that watches my videos regularly, you probably are aware that the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer is like my holy grail. I've been using it for years and I absolutely love it. So when they launched the Shape Tape Foundation last year, there was a lot of drama around it. I will briefly touch on that later in this video. But essentially, I decided to stay away from it. I did not purchase it in the matte or the hydrating version. I just skipped over that entire launch. It was very disappointing. But Tarte apparently is trying to redeem themselves somewhat. So they have relaunched a new foundation for their Double Duty Beauty line. This is it, and I wanted to give it a try and let you guys know whether or not it's actually worth your money. Now, unlike most of my other foundation wear tests that I've done on my channel, today's video is not a first impressions. I actually have tried this out about 4 times off camera before I sat down to film this video. I wanted to have some more fleshed out thoughts on application and wear to share with you guys, so hopefully this video could be a little bit more informative. Also, as you're about to see, my outfit is about to change, my makeup is about to change because I'm filming this intro a couple days after I filmed the entire rest of this video. I totally blanked and forgot to film an intro. I filmed like 3 videos that day, and for whatever reason, it just totally skipped my mind. I thought that I did it, and I didn't, so I had to come back and film another intro, which is totally fine. I'm wearing the Face Tape Foundation yet again today, and I feel like the wear has been very consistent. This has been on my face now for about 5 hours, and I feel like it's looking basically the same as it was looking in the video that I filmed a couple of days ago, which you guys are about to see. Spoiler alert, I do really like this, and you guys are about to find out why. So without me rambling on too much more, if you guys would like to see how this foundation performs, learn a little bit more about how I've been making it work for me, and learn just a little bit more about what its claims are and all that good stuff in general, we're about to get into it. Alright guys, so before we get into putting this on my face, I want to tell you a little bit more about this product. So the Face Tape Foundation is an Ulta exclusive. It's part of Tarte's Double Duty Beauty range, so you're not going to be able to get this guy at Sephora. You can only buy it from an Ulta store, or you can order it online from the Tarte website. It retails for $39. You get 1.014 fluid ounces of product, so essentially a standard ounce, and it is available in 50 different shades. Obviously, the big point of controversy with the original Shape Tape Foundation was that the shade range completely lacked even any semblance of inclusivity. A lot of people were very, very upset by that launch and refused to buy the product. I think it hit Tarte pretty hard because I think they were really banking on the success of Shape Tape to have a very successful foundation launch, and people shut it down pretty hard. So they essentially decided to completely reformulate, repackage, and relaunch a brand new foundation. They took the Shape Tape Foundation, both in the hydrating and the matte versions, off the shelves and replaced it with this guy with some attempt to do things better. Now, I'm sure there's still going to be quite a bit of controversy around this product and whether or not people are ready to move past the whole Shape Tape fiasco and forgive Tarte and see this as a recognition of their past mistakes. Maybe it's because I'm a life coach and I believe that people should have the opportunity to grow and to make changes, so I appreciate that the brand tried to do it better. I know some people feel like they should have gone in a completely different direction and not launched a product that was in any way related to Shape Tape, but I also understand that Double Duty Beauty is a line they have with Ulta and that they want to have a foundation as a part of that range. So I think they probably just wanted to get rid of the old Shape Tape foundation and replace it with something else, as opposed to continuing to offer that product and not offer any alternatives within that range and then just like launch a new permanent product. So like, I get why they did it. I decided for my own self that I was willing to give this a try, but I know everybody's going to kind of have their own opinion on whether or not that's kosher for them. Now, within the 50 shades that are offered, there are 5 different undertones, and it does look, based on what I saw in the store and online, that the shade range does span very light to very deep shades, and it's not just all solidly light shades anymore, so that is a step in the right direction, but I cannot speak to the undertones of the deeper shades. I know that that is also an issue that comes up among people of color, that sure, maybe you can make 15 dark shades or deep dark shades, but if none of them have realistic undertones for people, it's kind of like, what does it even really matter? So I would definitely recommend to do your homework if you are someone that has a deeper complexion, to see whether or not this shade range actually is as good as it seems. But for me, with where I fall in the skin tone spectrum, it was not very hard for me to find a color that worked for me. But then again, it rarely ever is. Alright, so as to the claims of this product, it is supposed to be long wearing, full coverage with a natural matte finish. It's supposed to be transfer proof, waterproof, and sweat proof. And it's supposed to have hyaluronic acid, snow mushroom extract, and apple fruit extract to hydrate and brighten the appearance of your skin. All these things sound pretty good to me, so that was why I was excited to try this out. I also am addicted to Shape Tape Concealer. I really do love this guy, so I was kind of hoping that when they reformulated this foundation, it would do Shape Tape justice and actually be a foundation I could really get behind. But if you saw my Hourglass Vanish foundation review, which I will link up here in the cards in case you missed it, that went over not so well, and it promised very similar things to the Face Tape foundation. So I really hoped that this would kind of redeem that experience for me, because Hourglass kind of seriously let me down. Now, another thing to note about this that I actually really like is that this guy has a pump. I think a lot of people were not really happy that the Shape Tape foundation that they previously released last year had a doe foot applicator, very similar to the Shape Tape concealer, because it's just really not very hygienic. It's bad enough in a concealer, but with a foundation, when you're putting it all over your face, all over blemishes, it's just like, doesn't really feel like a good idea. So I'm glad they decided to go this route. So I'm going to demo this for you guys and show you how it applies, how I've been using it. Now, this is not the first time that I will be trying this foundation. I actually have worn it about 4 times already. I wanted to come into this review with some more fleshed out thoughts for you on application, on wear time, so I could provide you with even more helpful information. I will show you the tips and tricks I've learned as how to best apply this, and I will still do like a full day wear test so I can show you guys what this looks like at the end of the day. So the first thing that I've learned about this product is that it is quite thick in consistency, so a little goes a long way with this. I found that 1 pump is pretty much all you need to cover your entire face. I think if you apply any more product than that, it's going to look heavy, it's going to look cakey, so definitely go the less is more route when you're applying this guy. So I'm just going to take 1 full pump of this foundation, so just this much, and I'm gonna dot this around my face and start blending it out first with my fingers to kind of start spreading the product around, and then I'm gonna go in and blend it completely with a beauty sponge. Now, when I originally went to Ulta to swatch this and figure out exactly which shade I wanted to pick up, I noticed immediately that this is a much creamier textured foundation than the Hourglass one. Like, it doesn't dry down quite as quickly, so you can really like take your time blending this guy into the skin. You don't have to worry so much about working in sections and having it dry down weird and patchy. And I have tried applying this with a brush in addition to a sponge, and I think I like the way it blends in with the sponge a little bit better. It lets you really press it into the skin, and it helps it to look just a little bit more natural and skin-like. I think with the right brush, if it is very dense, you're not gonna get brush marks, but I've just personally liked the finish most when I have applied it this way. All right, guys, so here is what the foundation is looking like applied. I actually really like the way that this looks on the skin, and especially applied with the sponge, it definitely has that sort of satiny matte finish. It's not too flat, it doesn't look cakey, and I feel like it does provide nice kind of like medium to full coverage with a sponge. It's not going to be quite as full as I think if you used a brush, but I actually have been liking erring on the side of more medium coverage because I'm going to go in with, of course, Tarte Shape Tape to conceal under my eyes and to cover up any extra little spots, but I don't like necessarily the look of super full coverage all over my entire face because I just think it looks a little bit more makeup-y than I would like. And here's a little bit of a closer up zoom in for you guys so you can see what my skin is looking like. But yeah, I feel like it doesn't look too makeup-y or too heavy. I feel like it just kind of evened everything out a little bit, and it doesn't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. Obviously, you could layer this up more if you wanted an even more full coverage finish, but I'm happy with the way this looks right now, especially since I still need to go in with this guy. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with my Shape Tape concealer on my under eyes just to kind of brighten things up. I'm using the shade Light Medium Honey in the concealer, and I have the shade Light Medium Sand in the foundation, just as an FYI. I actually did just repurchase the Shape Tape. Well, actually not just, I've had it sitting on a backup for like 6 months, but I repurchased Light Medium Sand in the concealer. I think I went with Light Medium Honey because I wanted something just slightly more peachy to correct in the under eye, but I think I'm going to try the Light Medium Sand next time around, so hopefully, I mean, the foundation seems to match pretty well, so I'm thinking the concealer will be fine. All right, so now all I need to do is set this down with powder. I'm gonna be using the Milk Makeup Blur-In Set powder, and I'm just gonna be using my little BeautyBlender powder puff here to apply it. All right, guys, so here's where we're at post concealer and powder, and before I put on all the rest of my makeup. I also realized that I forgot to mention I didn't use a primer today. I just decided I wanted to test this foundation out on freshly moisturized skin and see how it fared. It has worked really well with the Touch in Sol No Problem primer that I've been testing out. Those seem to pair nicely together, but today we're just gonna go primer free, see how this foundation wears and how well it lasts. We'll do one more awkwardly close zoom in for you guys so you can see what everything is looking like. I mean, obviously now that I've powdered, I'm looking very matte, but I feel like my skin looks pretty smooth, pretty airbrushed. I definitely feel like my pores are not quite as smoothed over as when I was using the Touch in Sol primer, which is what I did yesterday. So that guy definitely does make a difference, I think. But we're not here to test that product out. We're here to test out some foundation. So far, so good. This is what we're looking like. So I'm gonna go put on the rest of my makeup and I'll meet you back here. And we're back. I've got the rest of my face on. I actually busted out my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette today to do my eye makeup. It has been a minute since I've used this guy, and it is so nice. I feel like this is one of those forgotten favorites that I just don't reach for nearly enough, and it always creates a super beautiful everyday eye look. But anyway, back to the foundation. So I feel like the rest of my makeup went on beautifully on top of this. I didn't have any problems with applying my blush, bronzer, or highlight. I'm really liking the way everything is looking today, and honestly that has been my experience the last couple of times that I've worn this. I haven't had really any issues, and as far as the claims go of this being natural matte, long wearing, transfer resistant, I honestly have found that to be the case every time that I've worn it. We are going to wear test this foundation today. It's currently like 12:15ish in the afternoon, so I'm going to try to wear this for at least 10 to 12 hours with a couple of check-ins so you guys can see for yourselves how exactly this foundation holds up. Hopefully the results will be replicated today and it's not going to do anything crazy, but If it does, it's good for us to know. So far, so good. And you know, honestly, this is what I had hoped or thought the Hourglass foundation was going to be, because the claims are very similar. And this is honestly, to me, just so much better and so much cheaper. I just like the way that it applies better. I feel like it doesn't enhance dryness and texture on the skin. It still gives really nice coverage. It is long wearing. It doesn't seem to fade, get oily, shiny, transfer very easily throughout the day. All of which were things that happened to me when I wore the new Vanish Liquid Foundation. So I think this is an excellent launch from, you know, the 4 or 5 times that I've worn it. So I have good feelings about this, and I'm excited for you guys to come along with me today and see how it looks for yourselves with your very own eyes. And on that note, I've got a million and one things to do. I got to go to the post office and drop off a POSHMARK sale. Side note, I'm on POSHMARK, so if you guys want to go check out my closet and see what stuff I have for sale, I will link it for you guys in the description box. But yeah, I'm gonna go be a productive adult, and I will check in with you guys in a little bit. So it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I have had a super busy day. I just filmed my beauty report video that actually will be going up before this one. Also an unboxing video for your Bijou box. I've been working with them a lot, creating content for them for their own platforms and channels. They're a really awesome jewelry subscription service. I actually am wearing their earrings right now, so I will link their site for you guys in the description box if you want to go check it out. They're a lot of fun. But I thought I would sit down and film a little check-in for you guys so you could see my foundation and how the situation is looking at the moment. So here is a close-up look at my skin at the moment. So we're at about the 4-hour mark now. Obviously, as you guys can see, I've got a little bit of dew going on everywhere. It's not to the point of being like insanely greasy, but I'm definitely a little bit shiny. That is to be expected. Happens pretty much every single time I put foundation on my face, but I'm not noticing it breaking apart anywhere weird. I do feel like right around my nose, it is looking maybe a little bit unflatteringly greasy, so I'm not loving that. But on the rest of my face, on my cheeks, on my chin, and on my forehead, I feel like we're holding up pretty good. I'm not seeing it flaking weird. I'm not seeing it separating anywhere. It's still looking really even, which is nice. Now it's interesting because I am not wearing primer with this today, and I'm using the Milk Setting Powder, which is not a super mattifying one. So I do feel like I'm noticing that that might be impacting how this foundation is wearing a little bit. When I was wearing the Touch and Soul primer the other day, or the last couple of times I've worn it with this foundation, I feel like it's actually made a difference in how it's worn and helped it to be a little bit less shiny. So who knows, maybe I'm crazy, but I do really feel like that primer actually, it's good. For $18, it makes a difference. I like it. But all on its own, I'm not displeased with the way that this is looking. If I wasn't doing a wear test, I would almost certainly go in with an oil blotting sheet and just kind of remove a little bit of this residual shine. But other than that, I feel like we're looking pretty good. So I'll check back in with you guys in another couple of hours. Hey guys, so as you can clearly see, I am in bedtime mode. I got my pajamas on, hair back, my makeup eraser is ready to take this situation off my face. But first, I promised you guys one final check-in about this foundation. So it is currently like 9:45. I didn't quite make it to a full 10-hour wear test. I feel like 9.5 hours is probably good enough, but I'm so tired right now, and I think I'm coming down with something, so I need to go to bed. But all things considered, that I've been like half napping for the last several hours, and my face has been in a pillow, I feel like the foundation is not looking too terrible. I definitely have some wear around my nose, which is normal because my allergies are the worst, and I constantly am kind of touching my nose or needing to blow it, so makeup never really lasts there. Also, I feel like my blush bronzer highlight situation is pretty much non-existent at this point, but I feel like the actual coverage on my skin still looks pretty good. I just turned my lights down a little bit, so maybe you guys can see my skin a little bit better, but I feel like overall it still looks fairly even, which is pretty nice, and I'm a little bit shiny, but it's not like completely out of this world. I have eyeshadow fallout everywhere, so that's Nice. But all in all, I really like this product. Having used it now a handful of times, I haven't really disliked the way my skin has looked by the end of the day a single time. I do think primer does make a difference. When I've used this with primer, I feel like it's held up even better. I didn't use any setting spray. I didn't use any primer today, so I really didn't give this any sort of extra help that I normally might. But all on its own, I really don't feel like it caked up or faded away weird on me. I feel like it stayed pretty even. The coverage is pretty decent. And for something that promises full coverage, it still looks pretty natural. So all in all, I like this. Now, I didn't try the original Shape Tape foundation because of all the drama with it, so I can't say how this compares to the matte formula of that, but just on its own as a standalone foundation, I like it. I like it better than the Hourglass one that I tried last month. I don't know if I like it more than the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion foundation. I feel like it would be really interesting one of these days to do like a split face wear test and to test out both of those next to each other to see how they wear, because sometimes what we think in our minds and what happens in reality is not exactly what we expect. So yeah, I think if you were thinking about picking this up and you weren't really sure, if you have oily skin, I think this is pretty nice. And honestly, the consistency, even though it's a matte foundation, it's a natural matte finish. It didn't go on super drying. It's a more creamy textured product. So I could see this working on drier skin types. It didn't enhance any texture on my skin. I didn't see any weird flakiness, which did happen with the Hourglass one, which is really odd. So I could see a lot of different skin types getting away with this, and I like the packaging. I think you get a good amount of product for the amount of money that you're spending. You really only need to use one pump, so I feel like this will last a pretty decent amount of time. You're not going to blow through it, and I like it. I think it's good. So I think that about sums up my thoughts for today. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and watching this review. If you enjoyed it, I hope you will give this video a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts or feelings on this product, definitely leave a comment. Let me know. Are you interested? Are you going to pick it up? Did you try it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I want to hear your feedback. Anyway, I'm gonna go wash my face and go to bed because I'm toast. I'm always so exhausted by the time I get to the end of these wear tests. The dedication of a beauty blogger. But anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.